In this video, I'm going to tell you about the 3 people that every lender needs on their team to help you avoid some of the costliest mistakes that you can make. Hello, I'm Jimmy Frank Rogers with LearnPrivateLending.com, where we help you safely maximize the returns on your capital. If you're new to us, please hit the subscribe button, and of course, all the links that we discuss will be in the description down below. So the 3 people that every lender needs to have on their team is you need a great attorney, you need a great CPA, and you need a great financial advisor. So we're going to go into detail and talk about what each of these people do for you on your team, what to look for when you're looking to fill these roles on your team, and what kind of questions to ask them to make sure that you have a great relationship with them and that they can really help you out. So let's get started. So the first person on your team is your attorney. Now, specifically, I should say you need a good real estate attorney. This is someone who's used to doing a lot of real estate deals, a lot of paperwork, a lot of those kind of things with them. They're going to do a couple of things for you. They're going to provide you and your borrower for the necessary paperwork for the loans that you're creating for them. So these are things like your promissory notes, your deeds of trust, other things like that, depending on the deal and how it's structured. They're also going to handle your escrow account. A lot of times whenever you're loaning money for a flip deal, something where the borrower's buying a property, they're going to fix it up and then sell it, the attorney will handle the rehab account, because you don't want to give the borrower all of the money right up front, because there's some risk there that they could keep that money and not use it to fix that house and use it for some other project or what have you. And that increases the risk to you as the lender. So what we want is we want to loan money to the borrower for the purchase, and then we will reimburse the borrower out of the rehab account when they have completed work on the project. So that way, if for some reason the borrower decides to leave you, you haven't given all of your money to them. You have a house that has been repaired up to that level of the funds that you've given them, if that makes sense. So one of the things that you want to think about when you're talking or interviewing good attorneys is, one, make sure they don't charge you whenever you call to ask a question. Your attorney's going to get paid by your borrower and whenever they produce paperwork for your deals. If the attorney charges you some kind of fee for the escrow account, I'd be okay with that, but I'd want to be within means. I wouldn't want it to be a big dollar amount. I'll leave that up to you as far as whether you find that good or not. My attorney does a good job of handling that for me as a courtesy and doesn't even charge me for the escrow amounts. The other thing that you want to think about is the attorney doing a good job of giving you advice? You know, do they have good customer service? When you call them, can you discuss things with them? Can they tell you the pitfalls, the pluses, the minuses? Just kind of talk you through projects before you say yes to them. All of these things are very important as you become a lender and you start doing deals, and it's just something to think about, and a great person to have on your team. So the next person that you want on your team is a CPA, a certified public accountant. This is someone who hopefully is handling your taxes for you, making the assumption that you have enough capital, that hiring a CPA is something that's reasonable and within your budget. The other reason is, depending on the source of your funds that you're lending out, if it's money that's tied up in an IRA or it's in some kind of taxable account, it's very, very important to have good advice as to how to document, how to keep good paperwork on your loans, and how to handle that money so that you don't get afoul with the IRS. For instance, if you have some kind of money in a self-directed IRA and you pull some of that money out and start using it for whatever, instead of just keeping it all in that IRA, you could be subject to the penalty that the IRS charges you for using any funds before the age of 59 and a half. or you're going to have to pay full income tax on it instead of it all staying in that account and growing tax deferred. The other thing that's really helpful is a CPA can guide you as to if there's some kind of business entity that you need to set up to make your loans out of, for a couple of reasons. One is it can help mitigate a little bit of liability if something goes on. That might look like something like an S corporation, which is what I personally did, because I wanted to use my money definitely before the age of 59 and a half. And so the source of my funds comes from a taxable account, which means it's an account I've already paid taxes on. And all of the money that I make in the form of interest, points, and fees is fully taxable income, just like a paycheck, just like anything else. And so I would pay normal income tax on that money. So the S Corp provides me an entity to make sure that I'm paying the IRS what I need to pay them, and also affords me a little bit of liability by separating those funds that are in my business from all the rest of my personal funds that I have, which includes all of our other savings and other assets such as that. So a CPA is very, very important to have those conversations with, and they can speak to your specific situation and help you, guide you as to which is the right way to go. The third and final person that you want on your team is someone that is a good financial advisor. I personally would recommend that you have a certified financial planner. You'll see CFP behind their names. That's a designation that financial advisors can achieve. It's very difficult to go through. It takes a lot of work, and it generally designates someone who's a professional at doing what they're doing. Your financial advisor is someone who can just answer all kinds of questions about, are the loans that I'm doing, the way that I'm doing them, the way that I'm structuring them, does this make sense in my overall plan for getting to where I want to be? Depending on where you are in life, if you're someone who's already retired, maybe you're nearing retirement, maybe you're younger for whatever reason, the way that you are structuring things, those are conversations you want to have with them to make sure that it makes sense in your overall plan. Maybe the question is, how much of your funds should you be using to make loans? You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket per se. So if there is some risk involved with being a lender on real estate deals, and if something goes bad, do you have enough cash set aside to be able to handle that contingency if, for instance, you have to foreclose on a property and take it over? Do you have, is it going to help you sleep at night? Do you have the right kind of peace of mind knowing that, hey, if I do lose some money on a deal, am I still okay for my overall plan of being where I want to be? These are very, very important questions that anybody should be having with a financial advisor. I know I've seen before that a study was done that said 70% of people who are on track or even ahead of where they should be saving for retirement say that they work with a financial advisor, compared to only 33% of people who don't. So just mathematically, it makes sense to have a good coach in your corner, someone who can be unemotional and objective to, talk through your plans to make sure that you're getting to where you want to be. Finally, as a bonus, I wanted to give you 2 tips to help you find these individuals if you don't already have someone who checks all the boxes on the criteria that you need. Number 1, if you're looking for a great real estate attorney, one of the best places to start with is your local title company. Title companies handle pretty much all of the real estate transactions. In some states, it is actually a real estate attorney's office that handles a bunch of them. But a title company, they usually employ an attorney to prepare all of their paperwork, and they're more than happy to usually give you the attorney's name and someone that you can meet with. When you do call them, remember, we're looking for someone with really good customer service. So the way that they treat you from the beginning is going to be a very good indicator of how they're going to treat you later on in the relationship. So if they are not good at returning phone calls right in a quick manner or justifiable manner, they're probably not going to be good at returning phone calls later either. If they're not friendly, they're probably not going to be friendly later on. And that's something that's vital. You know, we're the customer, and we need to have someone who's responsive to our needs, because we're dealing with lots of money, and it's important to get this stuff right. So a title company is a great place to start. Another one is your local real estate investors meeting, an REI meeting or a meetup. If you go to meetup.com, a lot of times there's some real estate lunches, breakfasts, meetings where people get together and just talk to fellow investors, ask them who they use. The same goes for using them to find CPAs or possibly finding a really good financial advisor. One other place that I would look if I didn't have a financial advisor already is DaveRamsey.com. They have a list of what they call their SmartVestor Pros, where you can go and enter information. These are people who are committed to having the heart of a teacher, people who can be patient with you and help you understand exactly what you're doing and if it makes sense, which is a key characteristic of someone who I'd want on my team. I don't want someone who's a slimy salesman just trying to sell me something, if that makes sense. So if this was helpful to you guys, I hope it was. Hope that you would leave me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, and look forward to visiting with you on the next video.